Welcome back, everybody, to the grand adventure of business. It's so exciting to have you here. And I'm particularly excited this particular episode because I'm interviewing Joyce Khoo, who is a lawyer in Melbourne. And Joyce, I've known for a few years. She's got an incredible business as a lawyer, but on the side of that, she does a lot of philanthropic work. And that's particularly what I'm wanting to talk to her about today. So why don't we go to that episode? Well, welcome back, everybody, to the grand adventure of business. It's David Campbell here again. We've got an exciting time today. I'm deep diving with Joyce Khoo from JK Lawyers in Melbourne. Joyce is an expert legal mind around the whole insights of business structures and risk management, navigation of complex regulations, etc. But I love talking to Joyce because that has then allowed her to go on to other things. So, Joyce, welcome to the podcast. It's great to have you here with us.
Thank you, David. It's a glorious day and glorious time. I'm really looking forward to having this conversation with you, David.
I'm going to just, as I was saying earlier, I'm just going to use a few questions to guide where we go. And we will meander randomly through your business experience. But can we start off? I want to ask you, when was that moment that you actually realized that as an entrepreneur, you're on this grand adventure?
So I started the law firm in about end of 1999. And it was really hard going, learning the ropes of the business. Well, I had no idea that business was different from doing law. So I was learning how to be a lawyer. I was serving many clients from all over the world, predominantly doing visa applications for people coming to Australia. But I had no idea that practicing as a lawyer was actually different from running a business. And every single year, at the end of the year when I was doing stock take, I just thought this is so hard. And I every single year, at the end of each year, I thought I just want to give up, or convince somebody to take over this business, or give it away, or sell it away. But I think it must have been the 10th year, maybe the 10th year, then I realized, wait a minute, I'm in business and this is a journey. And then my whole perspective changed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So obviously, yes, face challenges, and I know a lot of the listeners will be in that same boat. You were a lawyer and you became a business person, but you needed to learn how to do that. And I know of so many of my previous coaching clients who've come into a business for that same reason. I'm good at this, so I'll start a business. And it just changes the whole dynamic a lot. But through that, you mentioned in the first 10 years that it was a constant challenge for you. Was there one particular challenge that you faced on that grand adventure that you needed to overcome? And when you did, it kind of accelerated everything for you?
Yeah, it's a very good question, David. I think I very early realized I couldn't do it alone. So my
Right.
starting motto, or my starting vision was, I'll start a business, I'll do law, I'll look after a lot of people with their legal problems, and then I'll only work 2 or 3 days a week and play golf the other 4 days. It never actually happened. So the law firm's now 25 years old, and I'm told it's got a good reputation. JK Lawyers is pretty well known, in the community around here. But I have, since then till now, it's 25 years. I've never had the 2 or 3 work week day, oh sorry, the work day week, and then the 4 days golfing. It has never happened. Okay. But what really changed it for me, what was the light bulb moment, was when I realized that I had to surround myself with people who could do the work while I did the complex strategy, brainstorming the solutions, meeting people, because everything takes time. And I don't have, I've only got a finite amount of time. So I needed to multiply myself into people. I think in the early days, I had one person assist me. I thought that was enough.
Yeah.
And then it went to four. So I had me and four others, or three others. And then it went to me and seven others. So it went from me one to two, and then two to four, and then it went from four to eight. And now I have a team of 16.
Wow.
And and when you look at all the components or all the aspects of business, there is so much to it. And I think the key that accelerates growth or changes the dynamics is putting the right people in the right roles to
Mm,
do what the business requires.
yeah.
And that was a turning point for me, realizing that, yeah.
So how have you gone about doing that?
Um,
What I mean is how have you about working out what the role is and finding the right person for that role?
well, or initially, I went about with referrals. So people would send me, this person is available for work. Would you like to consider? Hey, this person's really, really good. They're very nice in character. Would you want to hire them? Hey, this person does admin. So it originally was a lot of referrals. And then what happened was some of the referrals didn't work out. Okay. So
Yep.
I then went and advertised in seek.com and advertised in our industry, the legal industry,
Mm,
board. I advertised in newspapers, on the radio, even on websites. And even in 2022, because of what we experienced during the lockdown period all over the world, I hired six people in 2022. And I have to say, within 12 months, all six of them have left. Oh, they so recruitment is a huge skill. It's a huge,
mm,
complicated dynamic, I feel. I what happened then in 2023, out of desperation, out of sheer desperation, because I had a lot of need for good human resource, but I
mm,
didn't know how to go about it. I tried, spent a lot of money, spent a lot of time recruiting, training, and then losing all the six people that I recruited. I just gave up, and in a moment of just utter, desperation, I just breathed into the air, something like, God, I need some help here. And it's very interesting because in 2023, six people joined the firm that just came. They came to the firm and said, we want to work for you. And all six of them today are still in the firm, and they are key staff, essential workers, very productive, amazing people. So that is an interesting methodology, I think. When it's I don't think it will work for everybody just out of desperation, just breathing into the air some words that says, "Help me, divine, help! I need that." But it's worked for me, so it's been good for the last 3 years, or 2.5 years now. Yeah. So otherwise, it's a lot of effort, a lot of skill. Even with recruitment, when we write the advertisement, we have to word it in such a way that we don't get all kinds of like Tom, Dick, or Harry applying,
mm.
because it takes a lot of time going through the applications and then sifting it down, doing the interviews, finding the right person, and then training. I mean, that whole process, a lot of people don't realize it costs a lot of money,
Yeah.
it intangible, but most importantly, it takes a lot of time,
Mm.
which we can't make back. Like money, we can make back what we lose, but time, we can't turn back the clock.
Look, that's a great insight, particularly into that recruitment process. Tell me, do you recruit when you have a vacancy, or do you just generally keep your eye out for people who would be good?
Yeah, that's a good question. I have spoken to one particular business owner who says he is a talent scout. So wherever he goes, he's looking for talent that he can poach or invite or bring into his team. And he's actually very good at it. So he surrounds himself with top quality executive professionals that can bolster and enhance his business activities. Yeah. I haven't really been a very good talent scout, I'll say, but I'm always on a lookout for what my business needs.
Hmm.
And then I look for the person who can fill that role. So I think in a team, and I'm conscious that some businesses are small. It might be
Yep.
a two-man business or a four-man business. And then, of course, when it gets to my size, you need a bit of revenue to be able to sustain the cost of staffing.
Mm.
But there's so many aspects. You know, you've got administration, you've got the HR, you've got technology, IT equipment, you've got advertising and marketing, you've got the revenue side of things, you've got training, equipping and training staff, you've got the practice management, you've got the products, the
Mm.
services, the sales. It's so many parts of business. And I think a lot of times, like even for myself, we make one staff do five jobs. I think
Right.
it's rampant. or if they're very capable, they're trained in a country that has national service where the people go through army training. They're
Yeah.
a lot more stretched, so they might do 10 people's jobs.
Mm.
Yeah, so if you have a small team, the admin person might have to do the posting, the reception, the administration, the practice management, the accounts, the bookkeeping, all in the one. But I think if you want a business to grow, you'll have to start specializing
Yep.
a lot more. And for me, it's just looking at what we need. And then the seasons, some seasons we need the advertising strengthened. Some seasons we need to lift up the competency of the staffing. Some seasons we need to look at products. Some seasons we need to look at internal process systems and processes. So there's a lot there. And different seasons we might need to bring in different people to help. A lot of decision making, whether you hire as an employee, as a contractor, a long-term person, or a short-term casual, part-time workers, full-time workers. Actually, David, I didn't realize, by talking to you, there's so much that goes into human resource, eh?
There is
Ah.
an incredible amount, and business owners who are starting out always miss this fact. So
Mhm.
I'm so pleased that you've raised it. Can I ask you just off the top of your head, what percentage of your time do you spend doing law, and what percentage of your time do you spend doing business?
That's a very good question. You asked very good questions, David, and I'm glad I actually know because I think I think there were some periods in my life I actually had no idea, and I think it's also, if I can think of many business owners, uh, the headless chook syndrome is pretty. It's a common practice. People run around trying to do their business, and working in the business or working on the business. That whole concept. I think a lot of people actually don't know.
Yeah,
But for
yeah,
me, I try to do 30% doing law and
yeah,
70% doing the business. Having said that, it could actually be another 20% because I've got six lawyers in my firm,
yep,
and then four law clerks or five law clerks. So the ratio is like two-thirds of my team are legal eagles,
yes,
either lawyers or law clerks or legal assistants, and then a third are admin or systems people. But my time, I have to carve out time to supervise the younger ones. I've been a lawyer for 30 years now, so I've got a lot of abilities, and
mm,
just sheer learning on the job, making the mistakes and learning the hard lessons. I've got that experience, but passing it on to the young ones, whipping them into a reasonable professional excellence and quality, it takes time. So I'll say, if I'm supervising them and teaching them the ropes of how to be a very good lawyer, maybe 25% of the time I'm doing that. And then 25% I'm doing legal work that
yep,
is quick for me to get out, rather than getting one of my other lawyers to do it. I just do it. My charge rate is high because I do it very quick, where somebody else might take three or four times the time that I take to do the same task.
yeah,
But then maybe 50% of the time in the business, the business management, the practice
Mm.
management. Everything takes time. I wish it didn't, or
Another, I suppose, hopefully challenging question for you is how do you define success, and how has that definition changed from when you first started out to now?
that's a very deep question to answer. How do I define success? For me, on a personal level, success for me is at the end of the day, I can go to bed totally at peace and knock off, just hit the pillow and I'm knocked out and I have a very good deep sleep and wake up the next morning, in peace.
Mm.
I think that's a measure of success that I hold on to because I know many, many people, whether they're a business owner or in C suite executive management or even just an employee, I know many people do not get good sleep. I know
Mm.
many people go to sleep stressed out and they wake up stressed out. And some people even are stressed during their sleep and they wake up in the middle of their sleep with stress. So for me, that personal measure, that personal, like on a daily basis, I make sure that I've done enough to achieve that ambience or that
Yeah.
internal, what I would say, like a self leadership. So I know I'm
Mm.
okay. So another measure of success, obviously, is the money side. We got to bring money. The business has to make money.
Mm.
So if the business is not making money, and I think a lot of people are very careless about this, they can be very busy, but they're actually not fruitful or productive financially. So, I mean, they can say they're successful, but when you look into the books, it's a mess, and
Mm.
so you've got the personal uh, well-being, I think, as a business owner that's successful. Then you've got the financial side that has to be successful because money is a measure of everything.
Mm.
And then I think the other side is just the awareness of whether the business is in a good place. That's another measure of success. And I'll answer your second question at this juncture. So I was doing business for about 20 years
Mm.
and working to the bone, like doing the law, trying to make the money work, trying to make sure the clients are happy, my staff are happy, everything's rolling around well, but kind of like fumbling along. There's a lot of learnings to learn when you're running a business. It's not just overnight, hey, let's register a company and away we go.
Mm.
There's a lot to it. Okay, so now where I am in 2025 February, and I look back and I go, I would say for the first 10 years I was pretty grumpy and pretty reluctant. But then I hit a 10-year mark and I go, I get it now. Okay, I can help a lot of people and I can make a difference in people's life. So I'll do what I keep doing. So for the next 20 years, I worked on a business and then it was still hard work. But I think at the 20-year mark, it suddenly made sense to me that I needed to understand these different spokes. So if you think of a wheel, you've got the middle center spoke, center, whatever you call it, centrifugal
Yeah, the hub.
um,
The hub.
hub that has the spokes that then runs the whole circumference of the tire that
Mm.
keeps the tire, the whole wheel moving. You talk about ship. I know you got different aspects
Yeah.
of running the ship and making sure it doesn't get shipwrecked. So it suddenly occurred to me that I need to look at every spoke that is linked to the hub or every aspect of sailing a ship and make sure it's successful and just making sure that every aspect is in good order. I think that was a turning point for me. So that is what I've been doing for maybe the last 4 years. So this will be my fifth year doing that. And
Yeah.
again, I wish I could do it overnight. I wish it didn't take so long.
And look, I'm so pleased that you've wound it round to that point, because I want to change our tack a little bit and talk a little bit about the fact that I know that you do a lot of stuff outside the law practice, and I'm interested in helping the listener understand that your business has enabled you and freed you to be able to do all of this other stuff. Would you like to talk to us a little bit about the other things that you're doing?
Okay, I will. I'll premise that by saying, in the early days, as a business owner, especially a small business owner, yeah, I'll try to go on holidays with my family, and I'll get calls from the office from morning to night. So I'm on holiday. I've got a young child or two young childs, and I've got obviously a partner, and I'm on holiday, family time, and I'm on the phone. They keep calling me. How do I do this? Hey, we hit a roadblock. Oh, hey, we've got a problem here, and tell us about this. We need to get an efficient process. So I had my family time was really not my time, because the business still required me to be quite hands-on, even though I
Mm,
was taking annual leave. But I think growing the business and putting more people into positions that fills the different aspects of business really freed my time up. Okay, and obviously working the financial side of it, making sure that there's enough income that you want to hit profit. You want to make a profit. So for my law firm, we're in professional services. We provide that kind of product. It's different from manufacturing and products. It's a different thing altogether. But because the business has grown and different people are taking more and more of the work that I do, they actually assume that role and take it away from me. I have appreciated the evolvement of my time, even though the business has grown, even though my responsibilities has multiplied. I actually have more time than
mm,
before, when the business was small, and there was less, in a sense, less responsibility. So it's a very how would I say, uncanny logic to growing a business. Yeah. So what I've been able to do, especially from 2023 onwards, we inherited a deductible gift recipient company in 2019, and we took 2 years, 2020 and 2021, to actually clean it up. In a sense, we changed the constitution of the company, we changed the deed of the trust, and we looked at the banking, and just made it, much more um, professional in that sense, much more compliant with government requirements. So in 2023, I actually had the privilege of going to various countries. So 23, 24, that's only 2 years, and then now we're in 2025. But I have to say, I've probably been to 10 different countries now, in Europe, in Africa, in Asia. So I've traveled three continents, maybe four, and different countries, and actually had the privilege of meeting people who are running community projects or development projects, and being able to partner with them, and even finance some of their expenses, and their capital expenses. So we went to Philippines, and we actually started a charity company,
mm,
uh, bought land, and they're actually building or constructing halls and classrooms and teachers' quarters there. So, and obviously with my ability to do legal structuring, and structuring companies, structuring businesses, structuring projects, yeah, from the legal mindset, I actually was able to do a bit of life coaching and business coaching for the people there, and where they had a small community work, it has now multiplied by 5 times or 10 times,
mm.
with the impact. So it's been absolutely fulfilling, because that is an overflow from the law work that I do, or the law business that I do. I'm now able to help with community projects in different parts of the world, and whether it's a medical project, young people's project, an educational project, uh, equipping young people for life, and then relationships, marriages and friendships and even business relationships. So it's been amazing, and that's freed me up to do that. We
Mm.
still want to raise funds so that the more funds we raise, the more people we can impact around the world. And even in Australia, we actually want to do a youth development work in Australia, starting in Victoria, and trying to put that into place. But it's exciting. So with a bit of the business income that we can actually channel some of that, a small portion, into doing these projects. But we also appeal to people who want to build a legacy and maintain a legacy for their life. They donate, and they are part of these projects through the fundraising aspects. They might not be able to go physically to these countries, because sometimes it's pretty rough. It's a lot of fun, but you are going to developing countries,
Mm.
so a bit of challenges there. It's a lot of fun, a lot of outdoor, a lot of jungle, and but some people don't go, so they go in spirit, so to speak, because
Yeah.
of their fundraising efforts. So yeah, it's been amazing. It's been amazing.
So if there's someone listening to the podcast, Joyce, who would like to either contribute financially or join your team from the point of view of bringing their own skill set to where you go, how can they do that? How can they reach out to you?
I think the best place to go to is actionlove.org, www.actionlove.org. So ActionLove.org. And that's our fundraising company's website. And you can donate, I think, every dollar above two. So $3 and more. And some people give, 1,000. Some people give 5,000. Some people give $30. But every $3 and more, you get a tax deductible receipt, which you can then claim against your taxable income, and that's going to be a tax relief for you. If you type in the chat box or the inquiry box, and if you want to come on future trips, let us know, because we're looking for all kinds of people. You can be in the trades, you can be in the medical or allied health services, or a youth person, a sports person. We've had a sports coach come with us and
Wow.
teach people how to play basketball and all. People are people all over the world, and
Yeah.
you'll be surprised how similar they are to us in Australia.
Mm,
So it's
mm.
yeah, it's beautiful to see all the beautiful hearts all around the world.
That's amazing. Joyce, thank you very much for what has been, for me, an informative conversation. I've really enjoyed having you on. I'd love to have you come back at some stage, and we'll talk about that offline. But for now, thank you very much. We've reached the turn of this particular adventure of the Grand Adventure. I look forward to interviewing you again. Joyce, thank you for being here.
Thank you, David. It's my pleasure and my privilege.
Wonderful. Thank you. So, wasn't that an exciting interview? I hope you got a lot from that in terms of the philanthropic work that Joyce is doing. I'd like to challenge you to think about what you're doing. But why don't we jump over now and welcome back on board Gary Schuler, who's been with me for this entire journey. Gary, welcome. And what have you got to bring to us today in the Bosun's Call?
Well, we love the bosun's call. And Mike, I guess it's not a question, it's more of a statement. Having a philanthropic attitude is amazing. Can you give our listeners, David, a couple of examples of maybe clients you've worked with who've had the same or similar commitment?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, the one that jumps to mind immediately for me is the whole concept of not wasting your resources. I was the CEO of a group called Charity Computers a number of years ago, and we used to go around and meet with businesses and talk to them about the second life for their IT equipment. Most businesses back then used to just simply dump their computers. And we were a business that was involved with recycling computers and closing the IT gap, where there's a considerable percentage of the Australian population who cannot afford a computer. And so they can't then apply for jobs because you've got to send your resumes via an email. They can't type out things. They can't do searches for homework for school kids. All of these sort of things. There's an incredible digital divide in our nation. And we were getting businesses to donate their old computers. We would then refurbish those computers and hand them out to break that digital divide. And that was one of the philanthropic activities that I was involved in personally. What about you, Gary? Have you come across people who are philanthropic in their background in business?
Absolutely. I think a good example is Paul Dunn, who was part of the Results Corporation, then co-founded Buy One, Give One. And that's really says it all, buy one and give one. And it's all about getting business people to potentially invest or sow into other people's welfare and their lives. And, I think when you see people like that, doing that kind of stuff, it's inspirational.
Absolutely it is. And I suppose the key thing for me, Gary, is that it's about building or weaving into business the whole mindset, the whole DNA of giving back. Because as a business, we are making profit, we are making business and life, and what can we do to give back from that? And I think it's not just about giving money, it's about giving your time, giving your resources, building that social responsibility within your business practices so that even your team are focused around what can we do to give back. I know there are legal firms that allow their lawyers to go off and be part of charity organisations. But the thing is, it aligns a cause with the values that we hold in our business. I think that's the core, the DNA of giving back, being philanthropic.
Beautifully said.
So what a great thought in the Bosun's Call. It really does challenge our thinking as we go into business ourselves. It's been good having you along. I hope you enjoyed the episode with Joyce. And I look forward to bringing another exciting business owner, business entrepreneur into your room in a month's time. Anyway, tune back in then.